Hey everyone, and how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Hope everything has went well for you. Hope you are safe. Hope your Christmas was merry and bright with your family and your friends. I'm so glad that you're back. I'm glad that I am back. And with that said, if you're new to my channel, my name is Gabe. I am a 30-year makeup artist. I'm in the industry. I still am in the industry. And I'm 51 years old. I have mature skin and I'm very dry. So it's very hard for me to find particular foundations that work for me without actually, kind of mixing foundations together. So I heard that this new Makeup by Mario foundation is fantastic. So I'm really interested to see what it's all about. So I went into Sephora, played with some shades, see which one would match me the best, or I thought that would be the best match for me. And I took a couple samples. So we didn't actually get the bottle this time. I got some samples because I'm always telling you guys to go in Sephora and try out samples. So that's what we're doing today. I'm actually playing with samples. This is the first impression video. I've not tried the foundation on, only on the back of my hand, and really paid attention to the bottle and the details and that kind of sort of thing. So we'll go over that when we go over information. But yeah, I'm really excited about this, guys. I can't wait to dive in with you about it. So if you guys are interested and you want to see what my opinions are about this foundation, if your skin is dry, if you're mature, or maybe if you're just a dry skin in general and you want to see how this foundation may hold up or see how it wears or what my thoughts are on it, then stick around and let's do it together. Okay, guys, we are going to talk a little bit about information first before we dive into the foundation, even though I do not have the bottle in front of me. It is a really beautiful glass bottle. It has a pump on the top of it. The packaging is really great. The lid, it seals very well on it. So when you pop the lid doesn't pop off very easily. And then also when you look at it, you can kind of, if you really look up close, it looks like it has little reflectors in it, like little micro reflectors in it. It reminds me a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury flawless filter. So when you kind of look at it, but then when it's kind of like on the skin, it doesn't look like it's got any glitter in it, or what I felt of it so far. And I'm super excited about it. So the product actually is has a natural finish. It's hydrating. It's supposed to be vegan, gluten-free, medium coverage, long wearing, and it's a liquid formula. And again, like I said, it comes in a pump. It's supposed to be a breathable, luminous foundation that effortlessly builds and blends to illuminate the complexion with customizable long-wearing coverage. I did watch Mario's video. I did watch him apply it to a model. He did say that a lot of the shades, there's 30 shades in the brand or in the line. He said that they're kind of more customizable. So like one foundation shade may work really well for a couple different shade ranges. I did notice that a lot of the shades look very yellow. They do have a lot of more of a yellowish undertone to them. Even the cooler shades looked a little bit more on the yellow side. It kind of puts me a little bit in the mind of NARS and the way that they kind of do their foundations. So basically the ingredients in it, the highlighted ingredients are grapeseed oil and vegetal squalene. It helps with moisturizing benefits, and it also has perfecting powders in it to help to work with the skin's natural texture and to help for a more smooth and enhanced finish. It's free of all the little nasties and little naughties. I'll put that up here on the screen if you guys want to check that out. It helps to reveal the skin's natural luminosity, and it has a moisture grip technology that's supposed to hydrate the skin and glides easily on for customization. It's a buildable formula. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I will leave a little bit of an ingredient list up here. I will say that I haven't really smelt it, but we will in just a minute. I'll smell it, but I do know that there is, I think, coconut alkaloids are used in it. It's like the third ingredient in it, third or fourth ingredient in it. So that's pretty high up there. So if you are allergic to coconut, or you cannot use anything with coconut water or coconut peptides or coconut, any kind of properties with coconut in it, then this foundation will probably not be for you. Again, I've also heard that it's very luminous, so this may not be for more of an oilier skin, but we will have to play with it and see what my thoughts are. I do not have any makeup on at all. I put on a little bit of mascara, a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Dream Pop mascara, which actually I love. It's a beautiful brown copper mascara. It's really pretty. They sell this at Sephora. I found it. It's really awesome. And I've got my Dior lip oil in cherry on. I just have that on, but that is it. I've not even put primer on yet. So we're just basically naked. So we are here. I'm here naked before we get ready to do this. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I have my Berry Bounce makeup sponge. This is the Glam Light Strawberry Shortcake collection. If you guys can see in the back, I got it the other day and she just really inspired me lately. But I have the little strawberry sponge. We'll be using that today because I want to play with it and see how well it works because I haven't got to play with it yet. And then I also have my BK Beauty brush in 101. One of my favorite foundation brushes. We'll be using that too. So I thought we would play with it, maybe start with the brush, maybe do one side with the sponge and then kind of compare them together and see which one works better. I have this in the shade 10C. I tried 7C because any of the neutrals were way too yellow and I felt like the warms were not peachy, but they were a little bit more, they had more of a yellow undertone to them. So I went a little more on the cool side because sometimes in the winter, I'm Cherokee Indian by nature, hereditary, and I have a lot of red in my skin, so my skin pulls red, but in the winter it can pull some pink, so that can kind of come through because I'm not as tanned as I normally am in the spring and the summer. So I thought that 10C would work. So I have my little mini samples. She actually gave me two. The girls at the Sephora are so wonderful here. They're so awesome. I actually dropped by a nearby Sephora, not the one that I normally shop at, but I just went by and grabbed some, and they were just so wonderful and helpful. So shout out to all the Sephora employees out there. They work their butt off out there, and I know because I work with them quite often with when I'm in Dior. I go into Sephora and help them out a lot and work with them, and they're just great. They're just a great teams of girls and boys that work so hard for you. So make sure that you treat your Sephora employees very equally when you go out. So that really means a lot to them. But anyway, this is what the texture looks like. This is the shade. I'm gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand so you guys can see what it looks like. So this is 10C. It does look really beautiful. It looks like it's just going to be a dream to go on, especially if you're dry skin. Things like this, things that are smooth, that have a little bit of that beautiful finish to it. Just looks like it would just blend so well. My face always seemed to be a little bit more darker than my body, and my face look a little more darker than my hands because I'm always washing my hands and sanitizing them so much. So they're not always, and my hand doesn't always do a really good match, but it's not too far off, but it looks really beautiful. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the BK Beauty brush first. I'm going to take a little bit of this on the back of my hand. So this would probably be about equivalent to a pump, maybe a pump and a half. So we're going to start off with, I'm just going to blend out my brush and kind of work it out a little bit first before we get started into it. And then we're just going to go in here and just kind of like really, I'm going to kind of really get it on the skin and then kind of start blending in. Now you see, normally I don't apply my foundation like this, but I wanted to see, everybody says that it's so skin-like that it just blends in beautifully and effortless, and it does. Look at that. Wow. That is beautiful. Wow. This blends in even prettier than the Lady Gaga does. The Haas Labs. This blends in beautifully. Wow. Just literally just swiping it into the skin. That looks gorgeous. And what a beautiful luminosity that gives. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that beautiful? That is so pretty. Wow. And you know what? I didn't even do primer either. I actually pulled out my Gucci primer to put it on. But you know what? I think I want to do it without the primer. I want to see what it does on its own. But wow, that is really something. And with the brush, and I still have a little bit, and this was like maybe not even half a pump. So it's definitely giving a beautiful medium coverage right off the bat. Like you don't even have to build it up, just like the Haas Labs. This is putting me a little bit in the mind of like a blend of Beautiful Skin by Charlotte Tilbury and the Haas Labs Foundation, which I absolutely loved last year. If you haven't seen my top 2022 foundations, that was one of them. But wow, this is really beautiful. It's really blending out the coverage really well too. And it's just doing a wonderful job. And it's really quick too. I mean, that's a really fast application where sometimes you have to build up foundations. It takes a hot minute. You got to build it up. You really got to work it into the skin. This is a beautiful match too, I think. I mean, what do you guys think? I think it's a beautiful match It went perfectly into my skin. I'm so glad that I went into the store though, because if I'd have bought this online, I would have been completely confused and not knowing what to wear or what to wear, what to get. I can't talk today. My mind is, let me tell you, that intro, I got to tell you, that intro took me, that was about a 30, 40-minute intro trying to get that intro right. I don't know why. I just could not get my intro right today. It was crazy. But this is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely love it. So let's do the other side. Let me put a little bit more. Now, I've already used up most of that on this. So I'm going to take another, probably about, I don't know, maybe about another half a pump. And we're going to take my little Very Berry sponge, which I just think is just absolutely adorable. I can't tell you how excited I am to play with this collection, the Strawberry Shortcake collection. It's so stinking cute. I did a short. If I try to remember, I'll try to label it here so you guys can see it on just when it got sent to me. I finally got it and thought, now let me tell you something. It took forever to get it. It took like almost 30 days to get it. They're taking a long time to get it. So, but I'm very excited about it. So anyway, I'm just real excited about Strawberry Shortcake. I don't know why. It's just like this inner 80s child inside of me. But anyway, it is beautiful. It's doing really beautiful. I'm actually kind of like almost liking a little bit with the brush more because the brush was faster. The sponge, it's soaking up a little bit more faster in the sponge, but it's still looking pretty. I mean, it's not like, usually a sponge is what I usually normally go with. So that's typically my go-to is the sponge. Sometimes with the brush, I get too much coverage and I don't like a lot of coverage. And, Mario said you can build the coverage on this. You can make it what you want of it. But as far as like building it up, it does build up very nicely. I feel like I like the brush side a little bit better. Let me go back over it with my brush a little bit more on this side and just kind of like take it. I'm going to take a little bit more. Now this with the sponge, I've had to use more. So it's probably maybe almost a pump and a half I've had to use of the sponge. And my sponge is damp, by the way. So it's soaking up a little bit more into the sponge, a little bit more than than doing it with the brush. But I think the brush is the way to go. Now, I did see he does have a new brush that he came out with it for this foundation, which most makeup artists or companies do when they come out with a new foundation. They will usually come out with their own version of the brush that they feel that will work well with that foundation. Does not mean that you have to buy the brush. I think if you've got really good brushes, I love my BK Beauty brushes. I love my River brushes. I think you'll be fine. If there's one that that always works well for you, I don't think you need to go out and buy it. It is really cool though. It is a duo-sided, so it looks really cool. I did see it. Again, I'll probably, even if I like the foundation and end up buying it, I will not buy the brush, but it is a really beautiful brush and it does look great. And I think it was like 30 bucks or something like that. So I'm sure that would work beautiful with the foundation, but this is going beautiful with the BK Beauty brush here. It's doing really well. It's doing a very good job. Now, look how beautiful that is. That is really super beautiful. Let me just take my sponge a little bit. I'm just going to go over it a little bit more. Just make sure that we have it blended. And again, we don't have any concealer on. We don't have any primer on. We didn't do any of that. So that's very unusual for me too, because normally I have to wear a couple layers of primer or, something like that. I just had my skincare on and that was it. So usually I do have to layer quite a bit of primer on before I put anything like this on, because typically it's usually not radiant enough or it's too matte and I have to kind of make it a little more radiant. Holy shit. I'm telling you, wow, that's something, man. Let me tell you, Mario, that's something right there. Wow. It feels really light too. It doesn't feel very heavy. Now it does have a little bit of attack, a little bit. And we might powder a little bit and see what it does, but it's got a little bit of attack. It's still not completely, doesn't feel like it's completely dried down, but usually if it's got a little bit of a luminosity, most of the time they don't normally dry down 100%. They usually leave a little bit of tack. But we'll see. Maybe we add just a little powder and see what it is. I did bring out my Givenchy powder, so we may just do a little bit of that just to see what it does when it sets down with powder. But right now, I mean, it doesn't look like it's settling in anything. Let's pull out Miss Piggy and see what she says. So Miss Piggy, so let's see. where I'm not seeing anything in my, in through here, which usually I don't. It takes an awful lot to make this look really cakey or anything. For me, I usually don't have a problem with anything kind of sticking in these lines here or around my eyes or anything right through here. Usually I don't have any of those problems normally. But it looks really beautiful for something. And normally in between steps I spray. So this does not look sprayed. It looks really pretty. I'm definitely feeling that dry skin is really going to enjoy this. The only thing I'm not really 100% sold on is maybe oily skin. I don't know if an oily skin is going to like this one. Kind of similar to this here, the enhancer. This is the Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. This one is very emollient too. It's got like an emolliency to it. I don't think oily skin will like this either. But usually I would put something like this under, like a base almost, like a primer. Because this is what I used it for in the summer. Instead of doing it like a bronzer, I did it underneath like a primer. And I loved it. Worked really wonderful. But this is gorgeous. It's really pretty. So let me, let's do a little concealer. And I'll come back and we'll set it with powder together and see how we think about it with just a little powder and see how that kind of looks. And then make some more final judgments from that. Okay, so now we have concealer on. So I mixed a little bit of my Huda Beauty. I did a little bit of my little trick with my, a little bit of my Tarte Creaseless Concealer with the Huda Beauty, which I love. It's one of my favorite combinations together. So I did a little bit of that. So we're looking really, it's still looking really fresh. The concealer blended great over it. I didn't see any problems with it. There's still no creasing, no problems with it. It looks beautiful together. Actually, it looks really, really pretty. But I thought we would do a little bit of my, we'll do a little bit of my Givenchy powder. I thought I'd do this a little bit. This is in the, I think it's in the Prism Vile Rose number 3. I'm going to do a little bit of it. I'm going to take a little bit with my cap here. And I thought we would just set it lightly here in the center. And this is my Lumiere brush, my big fancy Lumiere brush. I think this brush was like, I've had this brush forever. I got it like way back in the day. I think it was like maybe 2016 or 17 I got it. But it's such a beautiful brush, but she's very expensive, but it's a beautiful brush. But I'm just going to take it and just kind of lightly set it just a little bit because I don't want a lot of powder. Just enough to kind of take off a little bit of the shine just to see how well it kind of sets. And without setting spray too. But that looks really beautiful together actually. Still looks really pretty. It still has a really pretty glow to it. It did take away just a little bit of the shine, but not too much of the shine, just a little bit. But anyway, this foundation, guys, I'm telling you, I'm really shocked. I'm very surprised how, because usually to get this kind of glow for me, typically, and this is even with some of my dewier foundations that I have to really put a lot more over top of it, a lot more highlight, a lot more this, a lot more that over top of it to still get the glow that this gives. I mean, it gives such a beautiful glow on its own. I'm just really shocked. And the fact that it was so simple to apply, especially with a brush, which never do I ever use a brush much. Did not use primer either, which is another thing that I always have to do normally before I do a foundation, especially with a lot of illuminating primers or something to give it a lot of luminosity before I put it on. It went over the skin like butter. It is not settled in anything. It looks really beautiful. It blended great with the concealer. It blended really great with his sculpting powder. And then it also, the Skin Perfector and also the Skin Enhancer, it worked great with these. So if you guys have these, this would be something you could always add to it if you wanted a little bit more luminosity to it. It worked really, really beautiful with the Givenchy powder. It set really beautifully with it, especially if you don't use a lot of powder or if you don't want to use powder. You don't have to. I don't know about the wear time though. I'm going to have to play with it some more to give you guys an idea on the wear time and wear it to work, see how long it wears, see if it wears well. You know, because my skin sometimes during the day will soak up foundation and by the end of the day I won't have anything left. So it'll be very interesting to see how this foundation wears. It kind of does remind me a lot of Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin, and I know a lot of people, there's a lot of mixed results with beautiful skin. Some people either love it or they hate it. It's one of those kind of products. And then it also reminds me a little bit of the Haas Labs. The Beautiful Skin is a little bit more tackier than this one. The Haas Labs have a little bit of tackiness after it sets on the skin. It doesn't dry down completely, just like this one. You can still feel, even with powdering and stuff, it was a little tacky, but it's not too much. And I did use a little bit of the, I always forget the name of it, the Skin Enhancer. It always makes a little tackiness. So if you don't like tack in your foundation, or if you don't like that feeling at all, you're probably not going to enjoy this foundation, because it's going to probably leave that little bit of that glow to it, that little bit of that tack, like you put a little bit of a balm on. So I know some people that are not going to really care for that because they don't like that feeling on their skin. I don't mind it because I'm drier. I kind of like that because I feel like it's got more moisture in it, and I do feel like it's very hydrating. I do feel like it's got a really nice moisturizing base, and I've played with a lot of foundations, especially in the previous year, that said that they were hydrating, but they turned out to be more natural, or they had a little bit more of that, not a matte look, but it was more natural. It wasn't as flattering as this. This is more flattering. It's not settling in lines. So I have to give this, so far, guys, as a first impression, I'm very, very impressed by this. I'm very impressed with Mario and this technology that he came up with. I think he got possibly a head on his hands. So I'm hoping that maybe you guys can check this out, or you know, if you're in the market for a new foundation, or if you're dry and you're looking for something, this may be something you might want to pick up or get a sample of. As far as oily skins go, I don't know. Again, I have to wear it all day and see. But I don't think oily skins are going to like this much. Maybe if your combination, you will probably like this. If you use a good mattifying primer and you use, because this Givenchy is pretty, she's pretty got a like matte look to it, or the Huda Beauty, the Easy Bake Powder, that one's a good one too. You know, if you use a good powder and really set it, the glow may not come through as much, but I bet you throughout the day, it's eventually going to come through. So if you like a little luminosity in your foundation, you may really like it. But if you don't like luminosity at all, I don't think you're going to really like this one. It's definitely not oil free, or what I've read, it's not. So, it definitely has oils in it. So please keep that in mind. It does have that very moisturizing base, like I said, and it also has that little bit more of that tackiness to it. So keep that in mind too. I'm really thinking this is going to be more for the normal dry, maybe combination light, like in the summer or spring. I know a lot of people will not be able to wear this foundation because some of them it'll just probably slide everywhere for them. He says that it's long wearing. Again, I will have to test that out. I don't think there's a claim. I don't think it's been out long enough to really make a lot of claims. Eventually, maybe he will along the road. But it doesn't really have a 24-hour or 12-hour or whatever have you. I'm assuming that it's like a very nice, you know, regular wear foundation, maybe 12-hour, maybe possibly because that's the 8 to 12-hour day, like most of us have normally. But overall, guys, it's beautiful. It feels beautiful. It feels really nice on the skin. My skin feels very hydrated. It feels really plump. And again, I didn't even use a primer, which really just shocked me because I always have to use a primer. And I was actually going to put one on before I started. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because it's really, really pretty without a primer even. So I'm really, really shocked by that. And everything else blended great over it. I don't think you would have a problem blending your makeup or blush or anything over it. You just would probably have to set it a little bit more if you don't want more of the shine. But again, I like the shine, so that doesn't bother me at all. I enjoy that. I like that really super radiant look to my skin. And the coverage is impeccable. It goes on really smooth. You saw how it just went shoop right into my skin. I got a really good match too. So that makes me feel really good. I'm glad that I went with the 10C and not the 7C, which was a little bit lighter. And then I think the next one was like maybe 17 or 18C, which may be more me in the summer. But right now, this is really beautiful. If I was to put this in my top 2022 foundations. If it was a, because I just feel like it's more at the end of the year and I've already done my ranking. I feel like this would have been up there with it. I feel like it would have been up at least in maybe my top 3 or 4. And that's a large jump, especially off of a first impression. So I can't really say that off of a first impression. I really need to wear it. We need to wear it for a good month. We need to really test it out. We really need to see it. But I will probably pick this up. I mean, I'm that impressed with it so far that I might just go pick this up in the bottle. So come the end of January, you might see me with an actual bottle of this, but, it's really pretty. I'm going to wear it a couple more times because she gave me quite a few. She gave me like 2 or 3 samples of this. So, and you saw how little bit it went. You don't need a lot of it. So I'm going to be using samples for a while. But once I get through the sample, or I feel like the sample is, I feel like I really like it enough, then I may just go buy and purchase it. But anyway, guys, please let me know what you think down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did you pick up this foundation? Have you tried it out? If you have, are you dry? Are you more mature skin? Are you more oilier and you've tried it and you like it, or you don't like it? Please leave us any comments down below. We want to hear all of your feedback on it and what your experiences are, because everybody learns off of everybody else. So definitely please leave feedback down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please make sure you subscribe while you're here if you love this kind of content and if you enjoy me, if you kind of seem to like it and you want to join our little family, we would love to have you. If you did not like the video, I'm sorry that if you didn't like it, but if you've stayed this long, I appreciate you watching. So, I really, really do. So that means a lot from the bottom of my heart. Still, even if you didn't like it, I get it. We don't always have to like everything we see. Anyway, with that said, guys, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I need to really say about this foundation. I really like it. I'm not going to say love it, and I'm not going to say I'm going to just go run out and buy it right away yet, but I'm pretty impressed with it. I will be doing a couple more videos today, so I will see how it kind of wears on the other videos too as well. And we will see you over on Instagram as well, talking about this as well, to kind of throw it out there to everybody on my thoughts. And, with that said, guys, be safe, be strong, be proud, stand tall, love yourself. Remember to tell somebody that you love them today, because life is way too short. And also remember to be kind to someone today, because kindness can go off a long way. And also, remember to laugh, be happy, have some joy in your life, because that can also go a long way as well. So anyway, take care, guys. We will see you again in the next episode. Bye.